The crowd was in chaos. Tourists gasped, cameras flashed, and the air crackled with tension. In the center of it all, Amara Williams stood her ground, her royal uniform pristine, despite the storm of opposition swirling around her. Just moments ago, she'd been standing in her post, shoulders squared, gaze steady, an emblem of discipline and duty. Now she was surrounded. Veteran guards barked insults, denouncing her presence among them. "This isn't your place," one sneered. The head of the old guard, Sir Reginald Hawthorne, glared at her with disdain. "A woman like you has no business wearing that uniform." The onlookers couldn't believe it. On Valentine's Day, a time for love and unity, an institution that symbolized Britain's heritage, was being fractured from within by racism, tradition, and the iron will of a single woman who refused to bow. Before we dive deeper into this shocking story, let us know in the comments, where are you watching from? Do you believe in breaking barriers, even in the strictest traditions? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more gripping real-life stories. Just months earlier, Amara had stood at the gates of Buckingham Palace, watching the royal guards with a sense of purpose in her heart. She had dreamed of this moment since she was a child, but everyone around her made it clear this dream was not for her. Her father, a former British Army officer, had warned her, "You will face things they won't. You will be tested in ways they never were." And he was right. When Amara passed the grueling selection process, her name on the list sent a shockwave through the regiment. A black woman, not just in the Royal Army, but among the elite Royal Guards. The whispers spread like wildfire. Some admired her, others loathed her. On February 14th, the official induction was to take place. She would be the first black woman to ever stand guard at Buckingham Palace. But as she marched toward her post, an uneasy silence followed her. Something was about to break. As soon as she reached her designated post near the palace gates, she noticed the stares. The veterans in the regiment weren't trying to hide their disapproval. Then it happened. Sir Reginald Hawthorne, the highest-ranking veteran among them, stepped forward, his silver-lined uniform immaculate, his authority unquestioned. He stood inches from her, eyes cold as steel. "You don't belong here," he spat. "This uniform carries the weight of centuries, and you, Miss Williams, are a disgrace to it." A sharp intake of breath rippled through the spectators. Tourists, unaware of the internal struggle, turned their cameras toward the unfolding drama. "I earned this," Amara said, her voice unwavering. The old guard laughed, a cruel, biting sound. "You were given this out of pity. The Royal Guard isn't a social experiment." Her hands clenched into fists at her sides, but she didn't move. The crowd murmured, divided. Some cheered for her bravery, others sided with tradition. A young woman in the audience muttered, "This is history happening right in front of us." But Reginald wasn't done. He stepped even closer, his voice a snarl. "Stand down, girl. Walk away now, and we'll forget this ever happened." Amara's heart pounded. Walk away? After all she had fought for? She took a deep breath, straightened her back, and stared him down. "I will stand here. I will serve, just as any soldier before me." That's when it turned violent. Two guards, veterans loyal to Reginald, moved toward her. The crowd erupted in shouts. "Hey, leave her alone." "You can't do this." But the guards grabbed her arms, yanking her backward. Tourists screamed as Amara was dragged across the ground, her polished boots scraping against the pavement. Her scarlet tunic was stained with dust, but she refused to struggle. "This is your Queen's Guard?" A woman in the crowd yelled. "Shame on you." Phones flashed, capturing every brutal second. Videos were already being uploaded to social media. And then, a sound that changed everything. The thunder of hooves. A black warhorse reared up, its massive silhouette blocking out the afternoon sun. Atop the beast sat Captain Elias Carter, the commanding officer. His eyes burned with fury. "Enough!" His voice boomed across the courtyard, bringing the madness to a standstill. The two guards froze. The crowd silenced. Reginald took a step back, suddenly aware that the world was watching. Elias dismounted, his boots echoing against the palace stones. He walked past Reginald, past the stunned guards, and offered Amara his hand. She took it, standing tall, back in her place. The aftermath was instant and global. By nightfall, videos of the incident had gone viral, sparking debates across the country. Royal Guard, dragged from her post, in disgraceful scene at Buckingham Palace. The Times. Valentine's Day turns into battle for justice at Buckingham Palace. BBC News. I stand with Amara. Trended worldwide. Reginald and his loyalists were suspended. An internal investigation was launched. And Amara? She stood her post the next morning, her uniform crisp, her chin lifted, her presence unshaken. As the first tourists arrived, a young girl with curly hair ran up to her. She looked up at Amara, eyes wide with admiration. "Can girls be royal guards too?" she asked. Amara knelt slightly, a warm smile on her face. "They can now." What do you think of Amara's story? Do you believe traditions should change, or should they be preserved as they are? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this gripping real-life drama, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. We bring you the most intense, history-making stories every week.